And we're back on Take Action. This is Daniel Marin, Saturday, February 16th. Big shout out to all of our listeners out in Chicago, Columbus, Grand Rapids, and Oklahoma, and across the country, really. You can watch our live stream on takeactionnews.com and subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/takeactionnewstv. Get free clips in your inbox. We're still talking right now to Ben Wickler. Ben is the host of The Flaming Sword of Justice, which will be restarting on We Act Radio and online at flamingswordofjustice.com. It is it's a pretty exciting sounding show. But Ben, I want to ask you a little bit about your time at Change.org. Change.org was struck by controversy a few months ago when they started sort of opening up their lists and their petitions and their information to non-liberal groups or really explicitly conservative groups. How did you feel about that?
Well, it was an interesting moment, and I think for Change.org, there had been this kind of this identity question, in a way for years, and the identity question between, which in a way is a strategy question between being a kind of an explicit part of progressive movement infrastructure versus being an open platform. And what I can tell you is that the people at Change.org, are deeply values driven, but there was this kind of fundamental question about whether they thought their role in the world and their organization's kind of role in the world was to be the place where everyone would go to take action regardless of their beliefs, or whether it would be specifically to kind of amplify the campaigns that they agreed with. And there's a big discussion internally and with a lot of kind of stakeholders and partners about which path made the most sense. And it wasn't at all an easy decision. One of the complexities is that Change.org has gone international recently. And so just to take one example, in a huge swaths of the world, there are people who I'd agree with on many things, many of whom are very poor and very much in need of kind of empowerment and tools to make their societies better, who are also deeply homophobic. And so for Change.org, for example, to have a kind of policy about petitions on the site, or even sponsored petitions, in terms of gay rights, which is something that I've and everyone from our Ben Rattray, who's the CEO on down, has very strong feelings about. But for Change.org to kind of stake out a position on that would mean could make it very hard for Change.org to play a role in something like the Arab Spring, where people that I would very strongly disagree with on gay rights are fighting battles that I think it's really important that they win. So that kind of that debate was swirling around, and Change.org came down on this idea of really opening up and being open, including on the sponsored petition side, which is where an organization can sponsor a petition that's then shown to people after they sign other petitions. I had all kinds of different feelings about it. The thing that I think one thing that's
your departure.
Well, I had this dream of doing the show, as I was telling you, since before I went to Change.org, and I, over the course of last year, started seeing a path to actually doing it as my full-time job. The day right when I was trying to decide whether to go to Change, I actually had a long conversation with Ben Rattray and told him this sort of dream I had of helping raise up people who were in battles to make the world a better place. And he said, Ben, you could do that with your own show, but at Change.org, we help people to create those stories in the first place, which are then told in all the world's media. And that was a great pitch to get me. But I still had this kind of, this tug of wanting to pursue this vision that I particularly had. So ultimately, that's where I went. And in a way, there's a big difference between a flaming sword of justice and an open platform. Like, there's sort of different types of things to be in the world. And I heard a quote once from this civil rights leader, Howard. I forget his last name now. He said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is for people to come alive." And that's basically where and that's sort of where I landed. Like, that's this is the thing that spoke to me most clearly. In a way, I think they're choices that everybody has to make, and I think for on the internet, one example of this battle right now is the engineers who built the Obama campaign software. Many people want to make that software open source, and they believe in openness and everyone using stuff and building on top of it. But at the same time, if they do that, it means that suddenly Republican operatives are going to have access to the same software that they built. And there's a huge battle now between some of the political people and between some of the developers, all that kind of stuff. And I don't think there are easy answers for that. Yeah.
One of those developers, NationBuilder, actually got a multi-million-dollar contract. Initially built themselves entirely as a liberal organization, and then got a multi-million-dollar contract from the Republican National Committee this past election cycle.
That's actually a misconception. NationBuilder was started by a guy named Jim Gilliam, and from the beginning, he was very explicitly totally open. And so, he had right and left-wing, people using NationBuilder right from the start. However, on the other hand, NationBuilder's never been open source in the sense of anyone can use the code. It's a paying service where anyone can pay for it. So they did sign this contract with the Republican National Committee, and I love Jim Gilliam. I think their software is great, but I would never want to work there because I don't really want to make tools for for Republican state legislative candidates. But he has in his view, that's like the his strategy to change the world. And I guess my overall note is that there's no easy answers on this. The most important thing I think for each of us is to figure out what speaks to us personally the most. If you're somebody who wants to spend your life trying to change the world, you should find the thing that just feels totally aligned in your gut. And the flaming sword of justice, as crazy as it might sound, is that exact thing for me. So that's where I'm at.